Village Panchayat courts in India, grassroots justice in rural society. India's legal and judicial framework is one of the most complex in the world, shaped over centuries by diverse cultural, religious, and colonial influences. One of the most distinctive features of India's judicial system, particularly in rural areas, is the village panchayat courts, also known as gram panchayats, which historically and contemporarily have served as forums for local dispute resolution. These institutions represent a form of customary justice rooted in Indian society, where the emphasis is often on social harmony, reconciliation, and restorative justice, rather than punitive measures. Historical origins. The concept of village-level councils in India dates back to ancient times. Ancient texts such as the Arthashastra of Kautilya, c. 4th century BCE, and the Dharmashastra literature mention the role of local assemblies or panchayats in resolving civil disputes, regulating social norms, and enforcing local justice. These early panchayats were composed of respected elders, often selected on the basis of wisdom, moral authority, and social standing rather than formal legal training. Their decisions were guided by customary law, social ethics, and the principles of dharma, balancing individual rights with community welfare. During the colonial period, particularly under the British East India Company and later the British Raj, the British codified certain aspects of local governance but largely left village panchayats intact as informal dispute resolution bodies. The British often used these councils as mechanisms to administer local order and collect revenue, while simultaneously establishing formal courts for more serious criminal or civil matters. Structure of village panchayat courts. A modern village panchayat court operates under the framework of the Panchayat Raj system, which was constitutionally recognized by the 73rd Amendment Act 1992. This amendment institutionalized a three-tier structure of local self-governance in rural India. 1. Gram Panchayat, village level. 2. Panchayat Samiti, block level. 3. Zila Parishad, district level. At the village level, the Gram Panchayat functions as both a governing body and a quasi-judicial forum. Each Gram Panchayat typically consists of elected representatives, including a Sarpanch, head of the Panchayat, and ward members. Some states have provisions for specialized Nyaya Panchayats, which are judicially empowered units focusing specifically on dispute resolution distinct from administrative duties. Nyaya Panchayats were introduced in states such as Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and Madhya Pradesh, and aim to provide a faster and less expensive justice delivery mechanism in rural areas. These courts usually handle minor civil disputes, property, family issues, and petty criminal cases, with jurisdictional limits defined by the state. Decisions are guided by local customs, community norms, and statutory law where applicable. Functions of village panchayat courts. Village panchayat courts serve multiple functions in rural India. 1. Dispute resolution. Civil disputes, property boundaries, land ownership, inheritance, and debts. Family disputes, marriage, divorce, maintenance, and intergenerational conflicts. Minor criminal cases, petty theft, assault, and breach of contract. 2. Promoting social harmony. Emphasis is placed on mediation and reconciliation. The primary goal is to restore relationships rather than punish the offender. Community elders often play a key role in encouraging compromise. 3. Legal awareness. Panchayat courts act as accessible forums for villagers who may otherwise face barriers to formal judicial systems due to costs, literacy, or distance. 4. Customary law enforcement. Local customs, traditions, and social norms often inform decisions, particularly in matters such as marriage arrangements, caste disputes, and resource sharing. Advantages of Panchayat courts. 1. Accessibility and affordability. Rural residents can approach Panchayat courts without legal representation or significant financial burden. 2. Speed of justice. Cases are generally resolved faster compared to formal courts, which are often burdened with backlogs. 3. Community participation. Decision-making involves local stakeholders, promoting a sense of collective ownership and accountability. 4. Cultural relevance. Decisions are sensitive to local traditions and norms, making them socially acceptable to the disputing parties. Challenges and criticisms. Despite their advantages, village panchayat courts face several challenges. 1. Lack of legal training. Panchayat members often lack formal legal education, which can lead to arbitrary or biased decisions. 2. Gender bias. Traditionally, women are underrepresented in panchayats, and their interests may be marginalized, especially in property and domestic disputes. The 73rd Amendment mandates reservations for women, but practical representation varies. 3. Caste and social inequality. Social hierarchies sometimes influence outcomes, with dominant castes receiving preferential treatment. 4. Limited jurisdiction. Panchayat courts can only handle minor disputes. Serious criminal cases and complex civil matters are outside their mandate. 5. Enforcement issues. While panchayats can issue orders, enforcement depends on voluntary compliance or support from formal state machinery. Contemporary developments. India's legal system continues to evolve, and so do village panchayat courts. Several states have implemented reforms to strengthen these institutions. 1. Legal codification of Nyaya Panchayats. States like Bihar and Uttar Pradesh have codified the procedures, scope, and appeal mechanisms of Nyaya Panchayats, providing a semi-formal legal structure. 2. Women and minority empowerment. Reservation policies and awareness programs aim to increase women's participation in dispute resolution. 3. Integration with formal judicial system. Panchayat court decisions can often be appealed in district courts, creating a hybrid system of grassroots and formal justice. 4. Digitalization and record keeping. Initiatives to digitalize records and integrate with online grievance redressal mechanisms are improving transparency and accountability. 5. Alternative dispute resolution, ADR. Mediation and arbitration mechanisms are increasingly formalized in panchayat courts, aligning traditional dispute resolution with modern ADR practices. Case studies. Bihar Nyaya Panchayats. Bihar's Nyaya Panchayats have been credited with resolving over 70% of petty civil disputes at the village level, significantly reducing the burden on district courts. Women members have increasingly participated in family-related cases, improving gender sensitivity in decisions. Uttar Pradesh Gram Panchayats. UP's Gram Panchayats focus on community-based justice. Studies indicate that litigants often accept panchayat judgments due to social pressure and community trust, demonstrating the importance of local legitimacy. Comparative perspective. Globally, India's village panchayat courts share similarities with tribal courts in Africa, barangay justice in the Philippines, and souk arbitration in the Middle East, where community-based mechanisms complement formal legal institutions. Such systems emphasize reconciliation and social cohesion, highlighting the enduring relevance of grassroots justice. Conclusion. Village panchayat courts in India represent a critical interface between traditional norms and modern legal frameworks. They ensure that justice is not confined to the urban elite or formal courts, but is accessible to rural populations, often emphasizing reconciliation over retribution. While challenges remain, particularly regarding bias, gender representation, and legal expertise, panchayats continue to embody the democratic and participatory ideals of India's governance model. The integration of Nyaya Panchayats with formal judicial systems, combined with digitalization and legal reforms, promises to enhance their efficiency, transparency, and inclusivity. Ultimately, these courts exemplify how localized, community-driven justice can coexist with the formal legal apparatus in a diverse, populous country like India. Sources 1. Kaur, R. and Singh, P. 2016. Panchayati Raj in India, Evolution and Practice. New Delhi, Sage Publications. 2. Matthew G. 2000. Status of Panchayat Raj in the States and Union Territories of India. New Delhi, Concept Publishing. 3. Pai, S. 2013. Dalit Women in Panchayat Raj, Grassroots Democracy in India. London, Routledge. 4. Government of India, 1992. The Constitution, 73rd Amendment Act, 1992. New Delhi, Ministry of Law and Justice. 5. Rao, MSA, 1984. Urbanization and Social Change in India. New Delhi, Orient Longman. 6. Singh, K.S., 1998. India, Village, Society and Culture. New Delhi, Oxford University Press. 7. Jane L.C., 2005. Nyaya Panchayats and Rural Justice in India. Jaipur, Rawat Publications.